Hi, I'm Lisa Sprinkle with Elevate Partners, a DHR international company. As we help organizations identify and develop future-ready leaders, we've launched a video series to interview CEOs and other top leaders on what it takes to be a successful leader now and in the future. Initial topics include diversity and inclusion, purpose, digital, and agility. Everett Harper is the CEO and founder of Truss, a fast-growing digital product design and development company. Their research-based approach builds a software foundation that allows organizations to scale and automate. Everett has built a remarkable and strong culture around a distributed model with cutting-edge tools to facilitate collaboration. Everett, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So Everett, with a distributed model, you've been managing remote teams for over 10 years now. Now that more organizations are starting to work remote, I'm sure there's some things that we could learn from you and some best practices. How have you encouraged collaboration when working remotely?
Yeah, so part of it is a culture. So having a culture and setting cultural norms around communication, around being available. So a senior person is very responsive on Slack, for example, to a junior person asking a question about a React library or about how to negotiate something with a client. So that's sort of the first thing. Is if my co-founder had the phrase that if you remote now will reveal the cracks that you have in your culture really starkly. So if you've had communication problems before, the first thing is to get that together. If you've had collaboration problems before, you have to work on that. That's the first thing. The second thing is how we've done it. It's a lot of documentation. So whenever we have a meeting on Zoom, there's someone who's writing notes or we're recording and then making sure that gets summarized and passed on. So anybody who, even if they aren't relevant to that meeting, can understand what has happened and understand what decisions are made. So for example, there's something that we call trust decision records. It comes out of engineering, where you kind of have a decision that's going to be made, and here's the decision, here's the outcome we're looking for, here are the alternatives we've searched, here's the reasons why we decided on this, here's who signed off on it, here are the risks, and then we have a committee that kind of keeps track of those, and then we put those into a repository. What that does, it's a paper trail, but not only a paper trail of outcomes, but a paper trail of thinking, which is one of the things that's challenging to do in remote. It's actually challenging to do any place,
right? But
now we have records of that. So that's really important for remote. The other thing is how to do meetings. I described a couple of different things, but we started a facilitation, not we, the teams, said, we want to get good at facilitation. Facilitation is a really important part of having meetings work well. We have a facilitation guild that is constantly trying to improve our ability to facilitate meetings, tries lots of experiments, and comes up with things that we could have never come up with in a million years. So one example that helps kind of knit the team together is a half-hour Friday meeting. We have an all-hands meeting every Friday. A half hour before that is a meeting called Being Humans Together. And it's optional meeting. There's a prompt question. And it's things like, and today's was, there's a hurricane or a fire. What are the 20 things that you would take from your home to stuff in a bag if you have to get up and leave? Which is a fascinating conversation because it's not just about what the items are and it's not a right answer. But you get to know people behind the veil. I mean, one of the things that's challenging for a lot of people making this transition is how do you render people more 3D than 2D? Small things like that are a tiny little lift enable you to say, oh, we have orchids in our background, or hey, what does that mean, this object in your room? And that makes people real.
And the connections are, oh, you take that book, I would take that book too. That book changed my life, for example.
That's right.
And I know we were talking earlier too about, since you do have a workforce that's remote, you're able to tap into talent any place,
Yes.
which I think a lot of organizations are starting to realize as well, that it's not just where you're located in San Francisco or New York, Chicago. I mean, you can have people from all over the country or all over the world, I'm assuming.
Yes. So we, for now, limit to the United States. But the reason why we decided to support hiring and recruiting all across the country was actually a good business decision. We were based in San Francisco to start. We're competing with the FANG companies. We're competing with Twitter and Facebook and Google. And that would be really silly to try and go against those companies on a regular basis. But we also know there's talent everywhere. It also helps our diversity goals because we know that many Black and brown folks don't necessarily live in San Francisco. Some of the universities that are putting out great diverse engineering talent is like Georgia Tech, for example. So we have people now in 30 states. We had a person that was in Alaska for a while. And the amazing thing is, yes, it gives coverage across time zones and so forth, but it does represent different perspectives, different upbringings. And so you start to get a knitting of a lot of different perspectives on a variety of different areas. And I think we were kind of edgy to go that direction early on, but now it's starting to be something I think people are seeing, this may be the way of the future, and how can I get on that?
And I think people are realizing too, your clients are diverse, so having this diversity of thought really adds to that as well.
That's correct.
So to wrap up, Everett, I just want to thank you so much for joining the conversation. I think some of your ideas you have on innovation and talent management will really resonate with our clients as well. So thank you so much, and we wish you the best.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.